Good afternoon and welcome to Gold and Black Live, or in this particular case, Gold and Black pre-recorded, as earlier this afternoon we had some technical issues. Glad you can log on to WLFI.com and goldandblack.com and watch the show that we actually recorded a few hours ago. Brian Newbert down to my right of goldandblack.com, and our guest Leroy Keys, former Boilermaker great, Hall of Famer, and retiree, and we're glad that you were able to spend a couple of minutes with us this afternoon away from your Ryder Cup duties, right, as an avid viewer?
Avid viewer, but I want to thank you guys for inviting me over, and I'm hoping that the Ryder Cup guys don't miss me too much, but I hope they get it together in the afternoon football.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Hilton Garden Inn, when tomorrow is a big day. Stay at HGI tonight. Also Follett's Purdue Pride, a Purdue tradition since 1945, and Trent Johnson. You can reach the State Farm agent at trentismyagent.com or by calling 765-743-9595. Well, a game tomorrow for the Boilermakers. They play against the Thundering Herd. Marshall comes in with a 2-2 record. Leroy, I guess while we have you here, let's get your thoughts on this Purdue team. I mean, 2-1 on the season. Even the one loss, I think maybe one of the most impressive losses perhaps in the country. Just what have you seen?
Very true. I think Danny Hope has done a fantastic job of assembling the type of team that can identify with one another. I mean, you have leadership on the defensive side of the ball. You have players now who are ready to make plays. On the offensive side of the ball, we've been kind of snake-bitten. I don't want to say totally, but with Terry Bush being suspended for the first game, and then Marv going down with the knee injury again. But quite naturally, the team has kind of gelled, and I like what I see. And I want to say thank you to Cody Webster, who's punting the ball very, very well. And should we keep this up, I think this will be a banner year for the Boilermakers.
You had some speed back in your day. Do you still have any? Can you run with Akeem Hunt? Or?
No. Even with a head start, about 50 yards. In all truth, after the applause stopped, you kind of stop working out. Only thing I'm lifting up now is the golf club and teeing up a golf ball. But I like the team speed that Danny has assembled with Bush and Ross and Edison, the wide receivers, and then you got speed in the backfield. I think I could give Cottom a good race, but he's still maybe a little faster than I am today. But I like what I see, and tomorrow against the Thunder Herd, I hope Ricardo and Josh on the corners and the safeties are going to have their hands full, because I know that young quarterback is going to come out and build leg, knowing a little bit about Purdue. He's going to try to exploit the secondary weaknesses, if there are any, and I look forward to it being a great game.
You've been around Purdue football forever, from playing to coaching to with the JPC and things. Just have you seen a team? Can you think of one maybe recently that had as much speed top to bottom as this one seems to have?
I don't think top to bottom. I think that Drew Brees' team in 2000, when you start looking at Seth Morales and some of those guys, Taylor Stubblefield and guys that he had, I thought we had some speed. We had Montrell Lowe and some other running backs, Joey Harris, who had speed. But quite naturally, from top to bottom, I think this is probably, from the wideouts to the running backs and even to the secondary, the most speed I've seen since I've been back.
Yeah. You see that game we watched 2 weekends ago against Eastern Michigan. Purdue made a lot of big plays in the running game. Which one of Purdue's backs reminds you most of yourself?
Ooh, boy. Since they don't toss the ball and they normally stretch now. I just think when I look at any running back, I think Mo Steer, and then I think the other kid, Akeem Hunt. They seem to hit the hole and then they explode. I'm not taking anything away from Shivers. I think he does a great job of running, but if you say in a comparison, I'll say Hunt.
What do you think about the Big Ten this year? I mean, you get to watch a lot of games these days, I would imagine, and it's down. I think that's pretty evident to say. Is it a speed issue across the league? Is it a recruiting issue? What do you think?
No, I don't think it's either one of those issues. I think right now, when you play each other in your conference and then when you go outside the conference, the other schools have nothing to lose. To beat a Wisconsin, to beat an Iowa, to beat a Penn State, quite naturally everybody's saying, hey, the Big Ten is down. But when you look at the scores that Nebraska has been running up, the scores that we've been running up, I mean, when you see Purdue scoring in the 40s and 50s, I think there's a parity just happening across the board. If you get beyond your top 25, when you start looking at Alabama, LSU, Oregon, and those teams that really flash, we're in the thick of it. But I would think that the MAC schools and the other schools across the country are now saying, we don't want to get annihilated by the Oklahomas. We don't get annihilated by the Louisiana Techs. But quite naturally, there's a lot of unsung football players out there who are saying, hey, with all this network exposure, this may be my free ride to the NFL, because I wouldn't be seen otherwise if we're not playing against the big boys.
Yeah. So whenever we have you on, we like to reminisce, but just before we came on here, we were telling you today's the 44th anniversary of a pretty big game.
Long time.
Yeah, long time.
44.
Number one Purdue against number one Notre Dame, a big game. Purdue victorious. Just what do you recall about that contest?
The only thing that I can recall was the fact that for some reason I got lucky and Sports Illustrated did an article and they put my mugshot on the front of the book.
That was all luck.
You know, we were deemed to be number one, and they were number one in another poll. But quite naturally, after my sophomore year going up to South Bend, losing to Hanratty and Seymour and that group, Alan Page and Kevin Hardy, some great football players, we felt that with Mike Phipps coming in to replace Bob Greasy, we had a chance to take this thing a little further. So the 67 year was fantastic. We beat them at home, and then to go back up and play them at their stadium. It was a great game, and we just knew that, hey, we weren't intimidated by Touchdown Jesus. We weren't intimidated by all the Catholics in the world. We just say, hey, 4 little kids from West Lafayette in there, just going to go up and take care of business. So that's what we did, but it was a great game, and it's something that you don't see too often today, but it was something that we held special because we were not given the dues that we thought we deserved, and quite naturally, we thought we had 8-2, 8-2, 8-2 over my 3-year career, so 6 losses, and it was special.
Yeah, you're not going to see a number one versus a number one anymore these days with how.
No, not often, unless you get to the BCS bowl game when you might luck up, and if LSU, who got lucky last week against Auburn, as far as I was concerned, I thought Auburn had a great chance to win that particular game. But until you get these conferences aligned properly and with everybody jumping ship going from conference to conference, because right now, the surprise team of the year, as far as I'm concerned right now, is West Virginia. I think West Virginia is playing some great ball with Geno Smith, and those 2 little wideouts they have, they're just flashes of dashes. So I don't think you'll see a one-on-one, but I think you'll see some great football going down as we continue this season. And I believe right now, when my son was counting it out for me, he found out that we were number 40 in the nation, and I figured, hey, we beat Marshall this week, then we got Michigan coming in next week, and Michigan didn't look too good in their last outing. So if Denard Robinson can continue to throw the ball the way he's throwing it right now, we stand a great chance of knocking the Wolverines off when they come to Ross 8. And also Wisconsin doesn't look so good, so homecoming could be a bad week. So everybody please come out.
Notre Dame going to the ACC in your part of the country. As somebody who was part of that game, as somebody who was part of that game 44 years ago, and has been associated so long with Purdue, and been around so many Purdue Notre Dame games, just how important is it for you to see that series continue?
Well, I think it's monumental, but I think Notre Dame, and I can't tell the athletic director because Notre Dame has been staying independent for so long. But as we look at it, I would think this is a natural rivalry, Purdue Notre Dame, 2 schools in the same state, less than 2 hours apart. To go into the ACC, who do you pick up? You may pick up a Florida State, you may have some competition, but they say they have 5 games as they play in the conference and they're still maintained. Well, when you pick up the paper the next day and find out that Michigan has already looked like they're out of the loop, they're going to keep Southern Cal, they're going to keep Navy. So being from down in Virginia, I think all the people in Virginia would love to see Notre Dame come down and play the schools in the ACC, because normally they can't get out to the Midwest and see Notre Dame play up close and personal. So it's an opportunity for them to see a powerhouse, a team that's worldwide known as one of the premier programs in the country. So being from Virginia, I would love to see us keep Notre Dame on our schedule forevermore, because I think it gives young kids a chance to want to come to Purdue and see if they can stack up against the Irish.
One more for you, Leroy, and we'll let you go. You've been to a Rose Bowl. You've watched a Rose Bowl. Does this team have the makings of maybe a run? Whether they get there or not, we'll see, but can they make a run at it?
I think they can make a run at it. Right now, the schedule is doable. When you look at Penn State is still going through their heartaches over last year, all the drama and excitement, or lack of excitement, but all the tension, and Happy Valley is not happy right now. Ohio State looked like they're still with Miller at quarterback. Seems like he runs more than anybody I know outside of Denard Robinson. But when you start looking at the league, Nebraska seemed to be maybe heads and heels above everyone. So in our division, I don't see why we can't win if we play well against Penn State, we play well against Wisconsin, we play well against Michigan, and I think those 3 games are winnable. So Indiana is having their problems. So as you look at the rest of the schedule, I don't see why we can't go back to Pasadena. I think the players understand it, but they don't want to talk too far down the road. We fans, we can talk about it all day long, but the players,
we do.
the players are probably sitting back saying, let's not jinx ourselves. So let's stay the course, play good ball, keep our turnovers down, score in the red zone, we'll be okay.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I know that Team USA needs you.
Yeah,
so
we'll let you get back on the course. Thanks a lot, Leroy.
I got to go find out Tiger to get the ball out the woods.
All right.
All right.
That's
See you,
Leroy
Leroy.
Keys. We'll take a break on Gold and Black Live.
Gentlemen, thank you.